Hi, welcome to my channel, To and Fove. I'm going to do a reading today for the Divine Feminine Collective. So, all right, let's get started. I am going to first pull about 3 oracles from my own oracle deck that I created. These are like quotes, messages from the Divine Masculine to the Divine Feminine. So, okay, let's see what messages the Divine Masculine has for the Divine Feminine. All right, Spirit, let me know what messages the Divine Masculine has for the Divine Feminine. First one out is, I know it has been a long time, but I haven't given up on us. It's so funny. Every time I see this card, it makes me think of Aaliyah and Timbaland. You know that song? It's been a long time. I should have left you without a dope beat to step two, step two, step two. Yeah, anyway, every time I pull that card, the song comes to mind. That was like the first thing. All right, second message that the Divine Masculine has for the Divine Feminine. I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you. All right, a little spicy, okay. A little blunt, a little honest. Well, I mean, I appreciate that. That's okay, all right, I get it. All right, and what other messages does the Divine Masculine have for the Divine Feminine Spirit? Last message. We have here, darkness is enveloping me, and I wish I could turn back the hands of time and choose you. Interesting. So it sounds like this masculine is now going through the dark night of the soul, some sort of spiritual awakening, and they have regrets. This actually is pretty much connected to this card because it says, I wish I could turn back the hands of time and choose you. What do they choose? What do they end up choosing? It says, I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you. And it seems like now they're ending up with a bit of a bad deal. Probably like, going through a bit of karma. And it has been a long time, but I haven't given up on us. So this is, and at the bottom of the deck, we have, you triggered a child wound inside of me that I had no idea still existed. So, Divine Feminine, when the Divine Masculine saw you, or whatever happened, for whatever led to this separation, clearly there was some form of rejection probably on your part, Divine Feminine, because of how the Divine Masculine had treated you. So it's been a while now that you guys have been in separation, but I believe this is saying that the Divine Masculine hasn't given up. So there's still hope, but as of right now, it seems like this childhood wound that you triggered inside of them, essentially that is now leading them into this sort of dark night of the soul, leading them to their spiritual awakening. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pull tarot now. All right, Spirit. Child of the greatest good and highest healing, help me interpret the messages these cards are revealing. All right, one more. Cut the deck. All right, so we are now going to, and we're going to clarify, I know it has been a long time, but I haven't given up on us. I'm just going to pull 2 tarot cards. Spirit, please clarify this first message from the Divine Masculine. I know it has been a long time, but I haven't given up on us. Oh. All right. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, I read upright, but I will acknowledge when cards come out reversed. Wheel of Fortune did come out reverse, but I'm going to lay it here upright. Okay, we have the Fool. The Fool is reversed as well. So that really tells me that the Divine Masculine is, like I said, with the Wheel of Fortune coming out in reverse, that's already like they're at the bottom of the wheel, right? They're experiencing bad luck, karma, negative external forces, which we can kind of get an idea of that with just this third message here. But let's pull one more. I know it has been a long time. And then with that Fool reverse at the bottom of the deck, that tells me that this masculine obviously is not, like I said, they made a bad decision, they made a bad deal. It was very reckless, it was foolish, right? And now they're dealing, it seems like they're dealing with the consequences of that right now. And so they're unable to take this leap of faith towards you, Divine Feminine. One more for, I know it has been a long time, but I haven't given up on us. Queen of Wands with the Princess of Pentacles reverse. Queen of Wands did come out reverse as well. That could be a very pretty shy, they say shy, aggressive, feminine. And then, so I don't think this is you. I normally would be like, oh, Divine Feminine, this is you, you're the Queen of Wands. But what I believe is that they are actually dealing with a third party, that they, and what I'm seeing here is that they have kids with this person. And then we have here this, that's pretty much, this is zapping their money. You know, right now they're left out in the cold. They're kind of experiencing, because we have here, for me, this is the Page of Pentacles. For me, Page of Pentacles, it can also mean like child support. That could be my child support card. So I'm getting that this Divine Masculine is dealing with a feminine, a third party. This is very well, yeah. That's Wheel of Fortune. This is a karmic feminine that the Divine Masculine is dealing with. And it says here, I know it has been a long time, but I haven't given up on us. So the fact that they haven't given up on you, this is signaling to me that they are essentially trying to get away from this karmic feminine that they are involved with. And it's karmic because we have the Wheel of Fortune here, right? So, and this came out reverse is what I was acknowledging, that both of these cards came out reverse. So this is telling me this is a karmic feminine that they are attached to. So there's a karmic feminine just lingering in their energy. And like I said, they probably don't really have much of a choice. They can't just up and walk away from this feminine, because they have, more than likely, they have a child, and they're tied to this karmic feminine due to money and the fact that, they have a child with this person, and it's draining their funds. And this could also mean like spiritual poverty. So they're not very happy. They're not feeling very prosperous. They're not feeling very abundant. And, I don't know, for all we know, this karmic feminine could be just probably misusing the funds that this masculine is giving to her for the child. I don't know. But yes, let's continue. I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you. So next message. Please clarify. I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you. 2 cards, please. Ooh. Two cards, please, where I chose. OMG, Nine of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And guess what comes out reverse? That's my child support card. Princess of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. That's giving the money, right? And this Knight of Wands is giving ego. And, you know, together that gives materialism. I mean, can't make this stuff up. Also, this child support card, like, that's probably has this, I mean, this is twofold. It could be the child support, but it also could just be this masculine, just being very unsettled, you know, not very established. And so they're constantly chasing a bag, right? They're chasing that money. They're chasing the materialism. You know, that's what they're, I mean, I can imagine, because even the Knight of Wands, sometimes that can represent like a player energy. So, I mean, imagine a player may very well be hung up on material things, you know. How do I look? Make sure I look good for the ladies, right? We have here queen. He chose a queen of, he's messing around with a Queen of Wands. That could be, you know, Queen of Wands could also be the type of feminine that's, you know, she's all about her looks. She looks really, really good. She's pretty. So he could have been very superficial when he got involved with the Queen of Wands, and superficial as in like, oh, just getting with her simply because she's, you know, she looks good, and vice versa. He looks good. It's like, you look good, I look good, you know, we make some pretty babies. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. Also, like I was going to say, this being my child support card, that could also mean that they're sort of like on a bit of a hamster wheel, right? They got to take care of their responsibilities. So they're always, you know, just constantly like thinking about money, chasing money. Anyhow, but yeah. And as I was saying, like they may be very unsettled. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like, especially with this Knight of Wands energy, that, you know, this might be a relationship with this Queen of Wands where it's sort of in and out, you know, it's very just unstable. So I don't know. One more for I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you. One more, please. Clarify. I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you. One more card, please, Spirit. Whoa. Four of Cups. Yeah, so Four of Cups. Interesting. Ooh, I have Three of Swords reverse. So they're just very unfulfilled, dissatisfied, feeling bored, apathetic, but they are at this point in their life where they're reevaluating and meditating. And they're also like, hello, it says I chose money, materialism, and my ego over you, right? And what do we have here? I love dissecting the cards. So you have, this is the Four of Cups, right? This would be your masculine. And then look at what they have here. They have Spirit offering what? This is like, this could be the Ace of Cups. And this is the Three of Cups, right? So this could even be like third party energy. And this masculine, what did they do? They had a choice. They had a choice between you, divine feminine, the Ace of Cups. That's what you would represent. And they had a choice between you, and they had a choice. They could choose the third party, right? Third party energy. Just running around, unsettled, doing what they want, being in this Knight of Wands player energy, right? So, I mean, you're here, you're watching this reading right now, and so you already know. And I mean, it's in the oracle cards, right? This masculine chose the third party. They chose the player lifestyle, right? The running around and messing around, doing whatever they want, playing around, being unsettled. They chose that over you, divine feminine. You represent this Ace of Cups. You represent something more substantial, loving, nurturing. But it just seems like at the time when you came along, they just were not ready for that. So they were like, you know what, let me stick to what I know, and I'm just gonna choose the third party. And the third party also consisted of them chasing money, materialism, and essentially their ego, remaining in their ego. And now, like the Four of Cups, like I said, now they're feeling very unfulfilled and unhappy, right? And we have the Three of Swords. It is reverse, which I'm with it being reverse, meaning I would say this is like a desire for them to want to heal and release the pain of this karmic path that they chose, because they certainly are dealing with the karma. They're dealing with the consequences of making this choice over you. All right, clarify. Darkness is enveloping me, and I wish I could turn back the hands of time and choose you. All right, this is basically referring to the dark night of the soul, and it's also like their regret. Yeah. So we have here Seven of Pentacles. There's a regret for not investing the time and energy into you, right? For not choosing you. So and this is also giving that, I'm seeing these cards next to each other, Four of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. This is basically signaling to me that they're investing their time, their energy, their money, right? Because this is the Seven of Pentacles. They're investing their money into this third party situation, this third party lifestyle. And look at him. He's like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Like I don't feel fulfilled. I'm not feeling good about this at all. If any, now it's triggering them into this like dark night of the soul. They're triggering their spiritual awakening, right? Because this could also be like a card of meditation. They're sitting there, they're thinking. We have here the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Once again, like I said, I love to break down these cards. And what do you see here, right? We go from the Four of Cups to the Five of Cups now. And this is because since choosing, right, we have here the Three Cups again. And now we have Two of Cups, right? So they had this choice between the Two of Cups, which would have been you and them, or a third party lifestyle. But they chose a third party lifestyle. That's what they chose. And now look at all these cups spilled over. So now they're over here regretful, right? They're crying over spilled milk, really upset, really just like bored, unfulfilled, having regrets, and they're just now just really dwelling on the loss, and it's just, I mean, should have known better, right? But I guess this is also like, let me not say that, because the thing is, it seems like the divine masculine, karmic lessons are just that, they're lessons, right? And some of us just, you gotta put your hand in the fire in order to know that it's hot. It seems like that's what I feel like this whole journey is about sometimes, right? It's like sometimes you have to, that's what the masculine is basically doing by choosing the third party over the divine feminine. It's like, okay, I gotta just, that flame, right? It's like a moth to a flame. That flame is just so attractive, and which is so funny because twin flames, right? I didn't even think about that, but I'm referring to the flame being the third party, or being, you know, a bad thing, because I'm thinking of fire, like in terms of, you know, and that's essentially what the twin flame journey is. You know, I know we're each other's twin flames, but it seems like the journey is all about going through flames before union. That's what it seems like. I don't know. But anyways, they had to touch the stove in order to just make sure that it's hot. All right, last one for darkness is enveloping me, and I wish I could turn back the hands of time and choose you. One more, please. Along with this Seven of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups. This is them. I feel like they just have gone through so much. We have Two of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, but we have here the Eight of Cups. They have had enough. They're like, you know what, this is too much, right? That's what we get from this, like, Two of Pentacles reverse. I'm also getting the Two of Pentacles reverse is kind of telling me like they've been juggling these pentacles, and now they're just like, I'm done. I'm ready to just like let it go, let it fall. Right? I'm ready to release release this, because this is really like a bit of an imbalance. It's too much. They're ready to just walk away from it. I feel like this is the energy surrounding the third party, the Three of Cups that they chose over the Divine Feminine. So now, and this is also like, you know, this is also like a bit of an investment energy as well, right? Because we have the Seven of Pentacles. And so that tells me that, like, because I heard someone say this before about the Eight of Cups, that it's the person investing 8 out of the 10 cups, right? That's exhausting. That's an imbalance. So that's what this Divine Masculine did in their karmic relationship, right? It seems like they feel like they're just investing way too much. It's taking too much, right? It's too many. It's taking so much out of them. It's making them very emotional and just emotionally drained. I mean, 8 out of the 10 cups, that's a lot. So this is essentially tells me that the karmic feminine is very much a taker. And he's had enough. He's like, because 8 of Cups is walking away from people, places, and things that no longer serve you. So this is them basically giving up and walking away from this karmic path. And it's interesting too, because I'm like, these cards are pretty much like in the dark, right? And he's saying the darkness is enveloping me, and they're having these regrets now. It's like they want to go back now and invest this energy into you, Divine Feminine, because it seems like they've been investing in this karmic feminine, and you know, she's just take, and she's not appreciating, you know, she's not reciprocating. So once again, this is the Divine Masculine expressing that they have regrets about the choice that they made over you. So they're just at a point where they're over it and they want to leave. They want to let go. Yeah. All right. I'm going to also, let's clarify, you triggered a childhood wound inside of me that I had no idea still existed. So that right there also, that tells me that they made this choice from a very wounded place, right? So that's why they're not making the best decisions. All right. Clarify, you triggered a childhood wound inside of me that I had no idea still existed. Whoa. Okay, we have Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So, oh, Nine of Swords. Yeah, that's definitely giving like a nightmarish. Oh, that's so interesting. That gives a nightmarish feeling, a nightmarish situation. They and we have the Knight of Wands behind that. Essentially, they're a player. They're not wanting to settle down, right? They're probably even have like maybe a fear of commitment or something. And, you know, like being loyal to one person. That probably stems from some sort of childhood trauma or wound or you know, experience. So this is something that they've buried. We have here Nine of Swords. There's a childhood wound that they buried deep within themselves. So deep that they pretty much forgot about it. They forgot about it. But what's interesting, while they forgot about it, they're still acting out, right? Because it's a childhood wound that they've never addressed, that they never healed. So even though they forgot about it, right, and they're just going about their life, it's showing up in ways. It's showing up in their bad decisions. It's showing up in their relationships, right? The partners that they choose to be with, even the partner that they choose to have a child with, a kid with, right? This is not even somebody that they really truly probably like saw a future with. You know, they weren't even thinking that far. They were probably just very, it seems like with that Knight of Wands energy, right? It kind of gives a very, very fast paced, kind of a reckless, you know, do now, ask questions later kind of a feeling. And, you know, as they ask questions later, it's like, you know, then that's when the regret starts to settle in. But it's already like they're in too deep. You know, it's too late. They've made the choice. Also, we have here, this is the Eight of Pentacles. So this is giving that now that you've triggered this childhood wound inside of them, they're now wanting to work on themselves. They now want to address it. They want to heal it. You know, so they now want to make an effort to really focus on this and do what they need to do so that they can live a more, I guess, healthier and, you know, a more settled like lifestyle. And they can make better decisions. One more for you. Triggered a childhood wound inside of me that I had no idea still existed. One more, please. One more, Spirit. You triggered a childhood wound inside of me that I had no idea still existed. One more, please. One more. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Okay. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. And it's interesting that, oh, and we have here, this is the Hangman reverse. Hangman reverse could be very like self-sacrificing, a very self-destructive path, which is exactly what they are on and what they ultimately chose, right? I feel like this is the karmic path that involving a karmic feminine that they ended up choosing, right? And it's with this being reversed, this goes to show like they were not very much in touch with their intuition. You know, they weren't enlightened. But, you know, like I said, I acknowledge the reversals, but I'm gonna, you know, read this upright, the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck. That basically tells me that they're now enlightened. They're now seeing the error of their ways. And now that they see that, you have here the King of Pentacles. I kind of feel like this is them wanting to put in the work to, get out of this Knight of Wands, right? That Knight of Wands kept peeking throughout the reading. They want to get out of this Knight of Wands energy and, be more in this King of Pentacles energy. King of Pentacles is, they're settled, they're established, right? They're not chasing a bag. They have a bag. They have several bags, right? The King of Pentacles is very comfortable. It's the, he's a provider. He's the provider. He's a protector. He's very responsible. He's very mature. So I feel that this masculine, like I said, is now seeing the error of their ways. And now they want to, not only that, but they're even, Divine Feminine, you really triggered them to the point where they're having to, a childhood wound basically popped up into their mind. And now they're they realize they have some work to do. They have some healing to do. And they want to be a King of Pentacles, right? They want to be, it's like once you know better, you do better, right? So that's them. They're now wanting to mature and do better. All thanks to you, Divine Feminine. And I'm sure like the Divine Masculine also, vice versa. That's also like, I didn't label this as a twin flame reading, but essentially this is what it is, right? But it's like you trigger each other. So Divine Feminine, I'm sure during the separation you also have some healing, you have some work to do as well, right? It's not just the masculine. All right, let's close this out with 3 cards, and then that will be the end of the reading. All right, please close this out for me, Spirit. Oh, okay. Ooh, we have Princess of Swords. We have the Sun. And Judgment at the bottom of the deck. That's it, right? That's that darkness of the soul leading to their spiritual awakening. One more, please. One more. Please close this out. One more card, please. Ooh. Please close this out for me, please. One more card. One more card. Ah, wow. Look at that. All right. So the 3 cards to close out the reading, we have here, we have the Sun, we have the Princess of Swords, and we have the Empress. What do you know? We're ending on a very, very positive, beautiful note. So, let's go with the Sun first. The Sun is happiness. They say it's the happiest card in the deck, right? So this tells me, and it makes me also think of that, the Hanged Man, right? Becoming enlightened. And we have here, the darkness is enveloping me, and I wish I could turn back the hands of time and choose you. This is telling me that things are looking up for the Divine Masculine. Things are looking up. They are, things are becoming clear. And I kind of want to word this. It's like, being in a tunnel, and it's like they're going towards the light. There's a light. That's what I mean to say. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. So there's hope, and that's a beautiful thing, right? And as we could see here, with this 8 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, they're now working on themselves. They want to get to the bottom as for why they chose money, materialism, ego, the karmic path. They want to get to the bottom as for why they made that decision over you, Divine Feminine, because when they saw you, they knew exactly who you are to them. So that you're the Ace of Cups, right? You're the Sun. you would have obviously, like, you're this divine masculine's match. Like, you guys could have came together, and the hope is that you eventually you will come together. If not, that's okay as well. But that's the beauty. Like, this is, they're wanting to be happier. They're wanting more for themselves. So the sun really is nice to see here, and it's a nice note to end on. We have the Princess of Swords, which, again, going back to this Eight of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, that's them, like, being curious. Okay, you triggered this childhood wound inside of them. Now they're having to really sit with themselves, and like, they're curious as for, like, this is now, like, they're now discovering and exploring new ways of thinking, new ways of communicating, right? Because they didn't have their way of thinking, choosing money, materialism, and ego, and feeling like that's the best choice in life. Like, that's all life has to offer, right? That's not exactly the best approach to life, right? So now with this Princess of Swords, it kind of gives this feeling that they're now in this mindset of wanting to learn, wanting to change, and change for the better. They want to think smarter, be more, what's the word? I don't know. They just want to make smarter decisions, basically, is what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, that's something that they want to address now. They want to address, and it all, it all comes together. They got to address the childhood wounds, and their how that impacts their mind, their way of thinking, how they process things and whatnot. So that's what I feel about that. I'm saying a lot about this Princess of Swords, but I feel like that's them just exploring, closing the door on the past and exploring new ways of communicating. Like I said, new ways of thinking, new ways of navigating life. And I'm, and it's for the better. And then we have the Empress. So this is, we are talking, about you, and we have Six of Wands. Wow, Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So that is victory, success. The Empress is, it's beauty, it's feeling good about yourself, it's being creative, it's really like being in your power. The Empress with the Six of Wands is such a powerful energy. So I definitely feel like things are looking up. And I also, I'm trying to, like, read these two together, and I want to say that, what does this have to do with the Divine Masculine? Divine Masculine is wanting victory with you, right? You would be the Empress, right? This is very much like a feminine energy. Now, we could also say this Empress energy could also be the masculine, right? Because the masculine, they may have been acting out because they were heavy in their masculine energy and completely ignoring their feminine energy, right? Because they say that there's a balance of feminine and masculine in all of us. So that includes that's you, and that also includes the Divine Masculine. So while you guys are in separation, you're wanting to achieve inner union. Inner union is balancing your divine feminine and masculine energies within yourself. So I feel like this is also, like, if we're really focusing on the Divine Masculine in this reading, this is them now wanting to, with this Six of Wands, this is them successfully, really getting in touch with their, I guess their, the more nurturing, more like feminine side. I don't mean it in that sense, but in terms of just balancing, you know, because I kind of feel like that ego may be like that heavy masculine energy, right? Like they're not, this is them also like being, I would say the Empress energy and the divine masculine is like them being healed. You know, this is very healing energy. It's a nurturing energy. It's an empathetic energy, right? And that is something that you definitely, that's something that you definitely want for both of you. All right, so that's where I will end the reading. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys return. I know this is like my first video. I hope that was okay. But my phone is about to die, so all right. Thank you. All right, bye.